The iPhone 14. Can we customize it? The iPhone 14 now has removable back glass. That might open up a whole new world for iPhone customization. Since the iPhone back glass is now removable and there isn't a lot coming in between the actual back glass and the internals of the phone, I want to see if we can make this phone transparent. This isn't going to be easy and I don't even know if it'll work, but there's only one way to find out. So the first thing we have to do is obviously remove the iPhone's back glass. Now, I don't want to do this to both of these phones, so I'm going to do this to the blue phone. I guess they're both blue, but this one's more blue. You know what I mean. We'll put that one aside and we're going to have to remove this phone's back glass. We'll hit the iPhone 14 with an unscrew. Now we can pry into the iPhone 14 back glass. It should be fairly easy because I've opened this multiple times. I actually worry about this phone's water resistance in the future because it has two sides of adhesive, one at the front screen and one at the back glass, which means that it could be less water resistant with time. We'll unscrew the back glass bracket. And now we can remove the bracket and we can also remove the back glass. Disconnect the back glass. So this is our back glass. Obviously, to make this phone transparent, we have a lot of obstacles. We have the wireless charger, the MagSafe magnets, all of these cables, the flash, the back microphone, and we also have this large metal plate. Now, this metal plate actually keeps the back glass in place on the actual housing. However, we could do so with just adhesive. It's not absolutely necessary. This is not gonna be easy, and I don't know what kind of paint they use for the back glass. I'm gonna find out right now if I can scratch it off with ease or if this will be difficult. So I'm literally just gonna take a screwdriver and I'm just gonna scratch. Now this is gonna be a little bit painful for me to do, so what you could do is leave a like on the video and it'll ease the pain. Okay, so we do see that it is becoming slightly transparent. We're gonna up this and use a razor blade if I can find out where it is. We got a razor blade. We're gonna try this again. It's barely making a dent. We'll get some sharper razor blades. We got a better razor blade. Now we'll attempt to scratch it again. And looks like we can do it. So the paint is scratching off. It's actually not that hard. I am concerned about the paint around the actual cameras because it looks very different. Although it might just be the frosted glass. I guess we'll have to find out. We'll be back after this short break. Because this metal part is most likely glued down, we're gonna put the back glass on our cooker because the back plate is likely adhered to the back glass, and putting it on the cooker will soften the adhesive so that we can take it off a lot easier. Cook the iPhone 14 back glass. So I've been thinking about why Apple did a complete redesign of the iPhone 14 and not the 14 Pro. And I've come to a personal conclusion that Apple had trouble sourcing the parts to make the standard looking iPhone. So they resorted to an entirely different design just to be able to make their deadline. But that's obviously my opinion. There is no actual evidence of that. So don't take this as a final word. It's just my hypothesis. The iPhone 14 back glass is done cooking. So before we actually remove anything, we have to unscrew this bracket here. This is for the flash. It just keeps it in place. Unscrew. And now we can remove the bracket holding in the flash. There also seems to be one holding in the back microphone. I'm not very sure how to remove it just yet. It's obviously not held by any screws. It seems to be clipped in. So if we just pull up on the clip, should come off just like that. Now we have the back microphone exposed. So I'm not really sure what to do now. We can either attempt to remove the back metal plate, or we can attempt to remove those flex cables along with those components. I think removing the components first is probably the best move, so we'll go with that. We're gonna use our Jimmy tool to try and pry up on these flex cables without ripping them so that we can remove the microphone, the back flash, and the wireless charging coil on the back. We'll gently pry. I'm gonna pour some alcohol on the actual jimmy tool just so we get less resistance from that glue. Isopropyl alcohol does not damage electronic components as long as they're not powered on. And even if they are powered on, it's very unlikely that it'll cause any harm. The iPhone 14 doesn't have any replacement parts on the market just yet, so damaging any one of these components means a very long wait for me to get them replaced. That means I have to be extremely patient and extremely careful when doing this mod. The microphone is also attached to the flash. It's all one large flex cable, which actually makes removing both a little bit harder. It looks like Apple has set a booby trap. This little metal piece is actually holding down the flash, and if I continue to pry, it'll probably rip it, so I have to move it out of the way. Never mind, it seems as though it's actually attached to the flex cable, which means it can come with me. We can just push the flash out from the other side and it pops off just like that. So believe it or not, this was the easy part. The hard part is removing the actual wireless charging coil. It's very unlikely that this wireless charging coil is actually above this metal bracket. There's definitely some sort of cutout because you can't wirelessly charge through metal, but you can through glass, which is why most iPhones use back glass. So what we're gonna have to do is basically, we're gonna have to grind off the adhesive that is holding the wireless charger to this metal bracket so that we can remove it, as well as the MagSafe wireless charging magnets. This might not be pretty because it's very hard to remove this with ease. So this is graphite, the same kind of stuff that's found in your pencils. Basically, it cools the actual wireless charger. Unfortunately, we will have to remove it, so things might get a little hot when wireless charging, but we like hot. Hot is good. Sometimes. Maybe. Probably not. Doesn't matter though. Okay, we're gonna resort to plan B. Plan A is not doing too well. We're going to actually remove the metal bracket before we actually remove the wireless charging coil. We're doing that because the wireless charging coil is leveled with the glass, but the metal bracket makes it very hard to actually pry under that wireless charging coil. In fact, if I do attempt to pry, I might damage it very, very quickly. So let's try removing this metal bracket. So we're just gonna take a razor blade and go under this metal bracket. This has never been done before and I don't know what to expect, but there's only one way to find out. The main goal is to not crack the back glass. Any significant amount of pressure on that back glass will cause it to crack and this experiment will be over. We don't want that. We're gonna put on some gloves so we don't accidentally slice our fingers off. We at Phone Repair Guru take safety very, very seriously, and everything we do is to, what was the script again? A scary noise. So it looks like the back camera bumps are actually welded into this back plate. I'm not too sure how this will work in terms of removing it and whether it'll structurally compromise the back camera bumps. I am willing to find out though, so we'll continue prying and see what happens. So we're about 30 minutes in of just prying, and this is way harder than I initially envisioned. We're gonna keep at it, but hopefully, I don't know, it's taking a long time. To potentially make this process go faster, we're gonna use some gold wire. This is specifically used for screen refurbishing. It allows the refurbisher to basically separate the glass and the actual LCD. In this case, it's more or less the same concept. We're gonna be trying to separate the metal frame from the back glass. Hopefully this works. Oh, and we're also gonna be using this machine. So this machine is also used for screen refurbishing. Basically, it sucks on the screen and allows you to remove the LCD from the glass. In this case, the glass is the back glass and the LCD is the metal backplate. It also heats up to pretty significant temperatures while it's doing so. That allows for an easy removal of the glass. Hopefully this works. We'll turn it on. We'll hit start. And we'll place the back glass on the machine. So the camera bumps actually don't allow the back glass to get sucked the same way as a screen. So we're gonna just have it hanging off and kind of use them as a point to anchor the back glass on. We'll move our blue repair mat out of the way. Links in bio and description. Now we'll take some gold wire, it's very hard to see, and we'll wrap it around our fingers. Hopefully this works. What we're gonna do with the gold wire is basically get that wire underneath that back plate and move side to side to destroy that adhesive. Destroy it. So far it seems to be working. And it ripped. We have to get some more gold wire. So we're gonna just use some thicker wire because that one's way too thin. This one is 0.06 millimeters. So it looks like I finally found a method to actually remove it. In combination with the heat and the suction, I'm able to pry under with my razor blade with ease. We got a bit of a head start from these gold wires. It loosened up that adhesive so we can pry a little bit easier. This is taking so long. I thought this would be a lot easier, but I'm not giving up. We're gonna keep on going. So we're almost there. The components are all still intact and hopefully functioning, but the welding on the actual camera is proving to be very, very difficult to remove. It looks like we're gonna have to pull out a Dremel to actually remove this, and we could potentially damage the glass in doing so. I'm gonna have to have a meeting with the founders of Apple and find out what glue they used to actually stick this metal bracket onto this back glass, because that was such a headache. I wanna kind of get a sneak peek of how this would look. I'm just gonna scrape a bit off the bottom here and then see if it looks clean. So the transparent mod will definitely work really well as long as we can figure out a solution for this mess over here. Guys, I'm sorry to do this, but I think we're gonna have to actually do a part 2 for this video just because of how long this will actually take to remove. We're gonna probably have to use a Dremel. I have to really think long and hard how to remove this without damaging that back glass. So yeah, we're gonna have to make a part 2. I will see you guys in the next one. It'll be the week after this video is posted, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, have a good day and make sure you check out my other videos. Leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.